to knock him out. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Reddit Mess, where I read a bunch of Reddit stories. I'm going to give my unsolicited advice. We're gonna have a haha kiki moment, and of course, let's go ahead and get into it. So for today, all subreddits is just gonna be whatever sticks out to me. I don't have like a actual category. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first subreddit is, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for what I said after my husband commented on my flat chest? My husband Jared and I have been married for 3 years. He's currently out of work, used to work at a high-paying job, but got kicked out of the company over a fight with a coworker. Ugh. And I'm the one that's paying for rent and utilities. We dedicated some time to see his family this week. They don't know he's unemployed because he thought they'll see him as a failure, especially his mom, so he told me to keep it a secret. Last night, we were sitting eating dinner at the table. His cousin was talking about his fiance going to Brazil to do a boob job. Jared asked if he was serious and then flattered future sister-in-law's boobs, saying that they're perfect and that he didn't understand why she'd get a boob job. He then turned to me, stared at my chest while I was eating like an idiot. I have flat chest I'm insecure about, but can't do anything about it, obviously, and said, "Hey, why don't you get a boob job? You're the one who needs it the most." Oh my God. Oh my God. His mom gasped and was like, "Jared." I said, "It's fine." I then turned to him and said, "I'll get a boob job once you get an actual job, since you've been unemployed for 6 months now." He stared at me in disbelief. His mom began questioning him about being unemployed, and he denied, then admitted it was true. He got awkward with his mom scolding him and others shaming him for it and for hiding it. He got so overwhelmed, he went outside and stayed inside the car till I came. He started yelling at me repeatedly, "You couldn't have held your effing tongue," and accused me of turning his family against him and having them judge him and shun him, and now he can't even step foot in their house from shame and guilt. I argued that his comment about my chest was insulting, but he said he was giving me a piece of advice and there's nothing wrong with him wanting to look pretty, and that he said that he... Okay. And there's nothing wrong with him wanting me to look pretty, and that he said what he said out of support and encouragement. But what I did was the complete opposite, and that it was intended to hurt him, and I succeeded. He dropped me off at home and then went to stay with his buddies. I called him later thinking he calmed down, but his friend said he didn't want to speak to me and I should give him his space. Hell no. Hell no, you're not the asshole. I'm sorry, pause, hold the phone. This unlocked a memory for me, and we're going to get into that. I'm going to share my little story, but first let's dissect the issue here at hand. Number one, what completely had me messed up was the fact that he lost his job because he decided to get in a fight with a coworker. In my household, like what we were raised on was, you don't quit your job. Matter of fact, scratch that. Don't let nobody fuck up your money. Don't let nobody fuck up your bag. That's how I was raised. So if you have a problem with your job, that's fine. You can have that problem with your job, but you don't quit that job. You don't, put yourself at risk for losing that job until you find another job. So the fact that this man is married, like he's married, it was a good paying job. He was the breadwinner here in this situation, and he lost that job due to getting in a fight with a coworker. And now the wife has to like basically pick up the slack. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I get it, like, it's supposed to be a partnership, but to me it's disappointing at the fact that he let a dispute between a coworker mess up the bag, which ultimately rippled, affected the household. Hopefully y'all understand where I'm coming from. And then on top of that, it's been 6 months. Like what have you been doing? What have you been doing within these 6 months to find a better opportunity so you can help out your spouse at home to pick up the slack? Or, hell, you could even have a job at Burger King, just something just to help out, even just a little bit. I don't know. That just rubbed me the wrong way. Then let's go and get into when he said, "Oh, I said this out of love." But what you did, you said this to hurt me. You said this to put me down. Putting someone down about their physical attributes, something that they can't even control, that's not doing something out of love. That's being nasty. That makes you a nasty individual. And then number two, what really bothered me the most was, how are you sitting up there talking about your brother's girlfriend or fiance, because it's gonna be your sister-in-law soon? How are you praising her, talking about, oh, her boobs are nice, she doesn't even get work done? I'm sorry. Basically, what that told me is you're looking at your brother's fiance's boobs. No. And then you're putting me down and you're uplifting her, someone that has no relation to you, besides the fact that that's your brother's fiance. No. Absolutely not. That's not okay. That's not okay. I would be looking at him sideways. Like, are you checking out? Are you checking her out? Are you really checking her out? And then I feel like there was no rhyme or reason for him to even bring her up in that conversation. Like, she's over here talking about, oh yeah, I was eating food, looking like an idiot. And the next thing I know, he's over here critiquing me, talking about, oh, well, how come you don't get your boobs done? Yeah, you damn right. I would have threw him underneath the bus. Like, babe, I'll get my boobs done when you get a job. Can you afford me to have my boobs done? No, you can't. No, you can't. So no, I don't think that she's the asshole. No, I don't feel bad for her throwing him underneath the bus, because he had no rhyme or reason to even do that. No rhyme or reason. And then he showed his ass when he walked, like he stormed out to the car, because then he couldn't handle his family berating him, which it sounds like there's a history of him feeling like he's not good enough. And basically the vibe that I got from this whole situation is he had to put his wife down to basically make himself look a little bit better. And to me, that's not okay. That's not okay. Like that comes from insecurity. And then it shows that he's immature, he's childish when he went to the car by himself and waited for his partner to get into the car. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. But this is where it unlocked a memory, because this has happened to me. I remember I was in a relationship with someone, and then I was getting into the shower with them. You know, it's being naked but not doing the deed. To me, like, that's very intimate. Like, just to like look at your partner and your partner looking at you, but you're not doing the deed. Like, you're just taking a shower. Like, it's just something natural to me that's still an intimate moment, and I'm being vulnerable, because at that time, like, I wasn't completely comfortable with my body, right? And my partner, like, he looks at me, he looks at my breasts, he picks them up, lets them go, picks them up, like he's like dissecting me, and then he goes, oh, like, you have a nice body, but like you can definitely use for a boob job. Like, I would pay for you to get a boob job. And your tattoo, the tattoo that you have on your back, is disgusting. Like, I don't like women that have tattoos. Like, I would definitely pay to get that removed. And here I am, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, we're in a relationship with each other, and you didn't seem to have a problem with all of this, like when we're actually doing the deed. And now, like, when we're in the shower and this is just like a regular schmegler routine, you're telling me how you really feel about my body, and now you're making me feel uncomfortable. So to me, like, no, that's never gonna come from a place of love, especially when his body isn't. Now, he ain't no Mona Lisa. He's not no Greek, no Greek god. He's not that. So for me, it was like, look at the kettle calling the pot black. Is that how you say it? I think that's how you say it. We're just gonna go with it. But yeah, I was like, oh no. Oh no, that's never gonna be okay. So just to read this conversation, to me, she's not the asshole, and yeah, he got to go. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Next subreddit is still the same subreddit. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for throwing out my husband's dinner after he went to eat at his mom's house? Let's go ahead and see. So my mother-in-law calls every night to ask what we're having for dinner. Then she brags about what she's cooking to make me look bad, especially if we're getting takeout. I used to care, but not anymore. But my husband would ask me to make dinner only for him to eat the dinner his mom makes at her home. I'm sorry, it's the battle of the mama's boys. That's what we're dealing with here. Anyways, she's 10 minutes away and using the "that's my favorite meal" excuse. Yesterday, I wanted to surprise him by cooking one of his favorite dishes, and although I was busy, I took time off work to cook. I even went grocery store shopping to get what I needed. Later, as I was setting the table, his mom called. I told him he didn't have to answer, but he did. Like usual, she asked what we were having, but acted surprised that I cooked his meal. She then went on to tell him she cooked this particular meal and told him to come over. He said, okay, which shocked me. I said, seriously? As he started dressing up and getting ready to leave. He told me, no offense, but this meal that his mom cooked was even more of his favorite than the one that I cooked, and grabbed his keys and left. Oh my God. I can't. Oh, poor little baby. I felt awful. I took his plate and threw it out and then ate my portion. As I was about to put the plate in the dishwasher, he got home looking angry, saying his mom lied about cooking his favorite meal and used it as an excuse to force him to eat dinner with her. I was shocked, but he sat down telling me to go ahead and reheat dinner. I told him no dinner after he abandoned it. I threw it out. He said, what? And I told him he disrespected my time and effort and chose to go eat with his mom instead. He began yelling at me, asking if I really did that, and called me petty and then horrible, and then went upstairs saying what I did was 100 times worse than what his mom did. You're telling me, I'm sorry, pause with the phone. I'm sorry. Because you're telling me that what I did was 100 times worse than what your mother did. I took time off of work. Come on, you guys, pick up what I'm putting down. She took time off of work, went to the grocery store, cooked his favorite meal, had everything laid out for him. He sees that his wife had everything laid out for him, and he made a conscious decision to leave her stranded, aborted the ship, to go to his mama's house. And his mother lied. His mother lied. And he's even admitting it. His mother lied and just basically wanted him to go over there and eat dinner with her and did not cook his favorite dish. And because that happened, then he comes home. No, baby. You need to choose a side and you need to stay there. Like, what we're not going to be doing is sitting there jumping back and forth. I get it. This is his mother. I get that. I totally get that. But the fact that this is becoming a pattern, this is a pattern at this point in time. Oh, this is my mother. This is my favorite meal. But this is my favorite meal. But this is my favorite meal. But this is my favoriteest meal. Like, no. Anytime that I go out of my way to cook you something, I feel like that speaks volumes. You married me, not your mother. You're with me, not your mother. So yeah, I would be hurt too. Yeah, call it petty, whatever you guys want to say if you're not in agreement with it. But that would hurt my feelings. Like, why even bother at this point in time? Why even bother cooking this meal for this man if it's just gonna go unnoticed? Yeah, I would throw it away. But I'm astonished that he would really fix his mouth to say, you're worse. Because number one, she didn't lie. If anything, I feel like the lie is what would be worse. Like, you drove down the street, yeah, maybe 10 minutes away, but you drove down the street to go eat dinner with your mother that she didn't even prepare, just to sit up there and admit that, oh yeah, like, I just wanted you to eat with me. Like, you don't see that being a problem, that your mother lied to you just so she can coerce you to go over there and eat with her, even though she didn't make your dish, and you saw that your wife took the time out of her day to do that. Like, there's a problem here, buddy. And it's not me. It's you and your mother. That's the problem here. Anyways, getting back into it, I definitely feel like I let my anger and frustration get the best of me, but it really felt unbearable having to live this for so long. By the way, I'm 26 and he's 28. There's an update to make one thing clear, and that's the fact that my husband only does this when it comes to food. He lived with his mom, attended a community college, and loves her food and is used to it. She gave me recipes to make, and I try to do that, but he keeps switching homes just to eat what he feels like. The real question is, how come she's not invited? Like, is he just like abandoning ship and just going over there to his mother, and the mother is not inviting her daughter-in-law? Or is the person that's making this post, just making a conscious decision not to go over there? Either way, it's all messed up, but this is just something that spiked my interest. No, I would not be okay with that. Like, that to me, that's pretty messed up. Like, that, yeah. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I really don't have much to say about this because I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. No, you're not the asshole. Could she have handled it better? Yes. But at that moment in time, and she even admitted it's only when he does this with food. And the fact that she wanted to kind of like show him like, hey, like I can be just as good, or maybe it's never going to be as good as home, family's cooking, but I made the effort for you because I love you, and you can't even meet me halfway. Yeah. This is the last story, and then we're closing out. So the same subreddit, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my husband off for wanting me to let my infertile brother-in-law and his wife experience childbirth by being with me in the delivery room? My husband's brother-in-law is 37, and his wife, sister-in-law, is 35, struggled with infertility for years after trying so much for so long they decided to stop, but started sort of living the experience of having a child by doing the things that parents do, like getting a nursery, they removed it now, buying many clothes, toys, attending school shows, etc., etc. I'm 7 months pregnant, and brother-in-law and sister-in-law has been asking many questions on what it's like to be expecting. It was bothersome with them getting involved, but I grin and bear it. They requested to be with me in the delivery room to experience childbirth. I said no and stood firm, but later discovered that my husband volunteered his place to give his brother and his wife both a chance to have this experience. We had a fight, and I told him off. I'm sorry, pause the phone. I really was trying to bite back on my commentary and get to the end, but I don't think I'm going to make it just yet. Sue me, if you will. I understand setting up a nursery. I understand buying clothes, toys. But what really just caught me off guard is going to like school shows. And they don't elaborate on it, but the way I'm putting it in my mind is you're going to a regular school and just sitting down and watching random kids that you are not tied to. Am I tripping, or is that not weird? That's weird to me. And I feel as though this is something that's deeply rooted, and maybe they should sit down and like speak with like a therapy, go seek counseling about it. Or maybe like see their options, like, adoption or something like that. But that, to me, that's a little extreme. Can you imagine like you're sitting there as a parent video recording your child at a play or something like that, and then you look next to your neighbor like, oh, which one is your child? And they're just like because they have no relation to any of those kids there. I would be kind of stressed. I would be stressing. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, but that to me is a little weird. And then number two, I'm sorry, how are you supposed to experience childbirth by watching me go through the process of delivering my baby? Shame on the husband for volunteering himself as tribute, because babe, this is not the Hunger Games. This is a partnership. You should have discussed that with him before you made that decision on your own. And now you got everyone out here looking crazy because babe, no, they're not gonna come in here and look at my Tootsie Pop split open as I push our child out. So no, you should have discussed that with me. Because if that's really the case, they could have, I don't know, they could watch like a documentary of someone else giving, delivering or something like that. I don't know. No. But getting back into it, brother-in-law, sister-in-law came over later to try and talk me into it. I nicely said no, but they pushed me, so I blew up telling them their fertility problems aren't my fault. Harsh, I know, and I regret saying it, and told them to get therapy. Fair. Sister-in-law started crying. Brother-in-law asked me to take my time to think, but I rudely said there was nothing to think about and my mind's already been made up. Fair. They left and my husband started to rage after yelling at me about how this is his child too, and how rude and dismissive I was to his grieving and struggling brother and wife. He told me to look him in the eyes and tell him I would be happy to ruin his brother's marriage when I can do this small yet graceful deed and help brother-in-law and wife process their trauma and finally make peace with it. I felt so much anger, I cried. He told me to get over myself already and stop purposely being selfish and petty. Oh my God. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in for someone that's damn near getting ready to go into the delivery room. That's stress on the mother. I get it. I mean, it's nice to see that her husband has so much empathy, like he's empathetic to the brother and sister-in-law that he's willing to do that, but not on my own accord. Don't put that on me. Like, this is supposed to be a joyous time for me, and right now, you're stressing me out. You're stressing me out. Can you imagine? I'm sorry, I'm doing it again. See me. Can you imagine, right? Like, you're there. You're getting ready to go through birth. You got your legs spread open, wide open. Tootsie Pop is out there in the open. And then you have your brother-in-law and sister-in-law just there, watching you give birth to their niece or nephew. Awkward. No. I wouldn't be comfortable. I wouldn't be comfortable. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I'll be able to push. I'm holding this baby until y'all step the hell out of the room. Cause now I feel like that's also messed up on the husband to basically like push that on his wife. Like, you're trying to force me to do something that I don't want to do. Like, I should be comfortable with whatever decision I make. You should fully support me. Like, that's not okay. But anyways, getting back into it, we're not talking now, and he says it stays this way till I say yes. So basically, you're trying to stonewall me. That's not okay. You're childish as hell for that. Anyways, I might have acted cruel, but I just wanted him as the father of my child to be with me and don't feel comfortable with brother-in-law and sister-in-law being there. And that's fair. That's totally fair. You have every right to be that way. Like, every right. Yes, it sucks what his brother and sister-in-law is going through right now, but that has nothing to do with her. That has nothing to do with her. And I really don't understand this. I really, no, you're not the asshole. Point blank, period, and the third. I really don't have much to say about it because it's weird how I'm uncomfortable. Like, I want the person that helped me create this baby to be in my space. Like, this should be a safe space. You know, if I want to yell, allow me to yell with you and, you know, me and my partner. If I happen to, you know, accidentally poop on myself, then that's gonna be okay because I'm in my safe place with me and my partner, not me and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law looking at my Tootsie Pop, you know, trying to live through me. No, that's just not okay. I can't even believe this is even up for a conversation. Like, it would have been different if she would have been okay with it, but she said she wasn't okay with it, and that should have been the end of it. Like, now I feel like they're using their traumas to like kind of push that on everyone else. Like, okay, look at me, look at me. Again, that's a sucky situation. Totally get that. But it's not okay to put that situation on someone else to basically coerce them into doing what you want them to do. That's never going to be okay. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.